How's everybody doing today?
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can go now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Peace. Today, your hosts are Queen Aduni, Danni Stillwell, and Lolly Mariah Tolbert. Enjoy. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Welcome, Mi'chael.
Greetings, greetings. How everybody doing today?
We are great.
Doing well.
Oh my. Hey, Danni. Good to see you.
Grand Rising. Woo. Woo. I'm getting back in my body. Woo.
And Star and Evelyn and Deetra and coming.
It's just wonderful to see a brother on the screen. I just want you to know.
Yeah, a good-looking brother.
A good-looking brother in that, okay? Woo.
So Joanne had to work today?
No, she's actually still laid out in bed.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think that is Omani, Reverend Omani, peace on earth, girl. Well, Danni,
how's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing? How's everything going?
It's going good.
It's great. I am beautiful, as my neighbor used to say when I asked her how was she. She said, I am beautiful. So this morning, I am beautiful.
I say.
Yes.
So Danni, what you been doing? What you got good for us? All that deliciousness you've been around the world.
Honey, I'm still processing stuff. I tell you, God has been so good to me. I never want to miss an opportunity to say how good God has been to me. Okay. And has allowed me to have the experiences that I have had. But I do have a reading from this awesome book that I've been reading for years. It has taken me years to read it because it's just that way. It's a digestive feast for the spirit. And it is called The Sacred Yes by Dr. Reverend Deborah Johnson. And this morning's reading, very briefly, comes from an excerpt from that. And it says, I need you present, not looking backward or forward. You must move beyond what others have done to find your own uniqueness. Yea, this may even contradict the ones whom you admire the most. No one will put it together quite the way you will when you receive it from me, that spirit.
Yes.
But you must empty your storage bins of the rubbish that you have been carrying around. You too often mistake your sentimentality, the memorabilia of where you have been, and the things that you have experienced for your identity. Too many of you hold a photograph instead of a mirror. I do not need you looking backwards. I need you present and right here You thought that I was going to say, I need you looking towards the future. No, that is a great, that is as great a trap as looking backwards.
Oh, yes.
Those of you who are constantly looking into the future become overachievers. You always have something to prove, even if it is only to yourself. You want things to be different for you, and rightly so. It is not your effort that is in question here, but your deepest intent. If you are merely trying to make something happen in order to prove something to yourself or to someone else, you are missing the sweetness and the genuineness. That attitude of necessity wears a protective garb, a coat of armor, and however, your authentic self is underneath your defenses. Woo!
Wow.
I just had to sit with that one myself for a while, reaching into the future and looking back at the past and not really recognizing that our gift is in the right here and now.
That's right.
It's in the right here and now.
Yeah.
So
thank you for sharing that. That's powerful.
Yeah. So I'll put the title of the book in the it is filled with such lovely nuggets that, like I said, it has taken me years to really read it. I have to read it in parts, because there are some things that you can take in that just blow your mind and you'll never get through them. Okay. Yeah. You just have to read it in tiny tidbits and then take it in and ingest it and digest it and let it assimilate into your being. And so that's how Dr. Johnson writes so beautifully. She channels, and when she is we all channel. You all know that, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We all know that we all are channelers of spirit. Some of us are more aware and attuned to the gift that we have than others. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. We're just channelers at different levels. But Dr. Johnson is a master channeler, and her writings just bear out such beautiful nuggets of spirit. So I'll put that in the chat. And as we wound up this month of creativity, and we're entering, have you identified what this month is, Queen?
Not really.
Okay.
I was thinking about that, but not really.
Well, it's not you. It's what spirit gives you.
Right,
So,
right.
hey, it ain't you. So when spirit gives it to you, then I'm sure you will share it with us.
Yeah,
Yes.
or whoever, or
whoever, yeah, is inspired. Right.
Yes, yes. But the month of creativity was simply awesome. I mean, simply awesome. The sisters coming forth with their gifts, and we had one brother, which was my brother, Pam's twin, Star's twin, was on, and I'm still searching for the video of that. And it has caused me to go through every single video and deal with all kind of other stuff. What's so funny, what's been so funny is, when I'm looking so that I can put a name on the date and stuff. So I'll have to kind of hit and find, okay, was there a speaker and all that kind of stuff. I hit on it, and then I said, well, what were they talking about? And I hit it. Do you know that I go into the present of that, and I'm laughing or I'm responding to, I said, it's not even, it was, but when it comes on and then I hear one of y'all speaking about something, I said, Pam, I'm laughing and I'm responding just like it's live, right?
It's live, yeah.
And it just brings me again to just the spirit of the Elizabeths, and just the deliciousness of of what we have, what we are able to share with one another throughout the week, and how
And
powerful that is.
and I just want to say, I don't know if any of you are even aware of what it takes. I mean, not only the time, but the wherewithal, what it takes to have a forum every day. Every day.
Every day, right?
Every day. And she has not missed a day.
Well, I was going to be like Oprah.
You gonna be like Oprah?
Oprah, yeah. When Stedman said at the end, you know, and he talked, he said she all these years. How many years? He said she
25
never missed one.
Never missed a day.
She was there, right? And we knew when she was sick, right? So this being run by Spirit has an obligation to us to, you know, if we just
to do what we've been asked to do.
And
to do what we've been charged.
I thought I'd be tired by now, but it is such a joy. I get vitalized, and you sisters and brothers get vitalized, revitalized, and so it is a joy.
Well, right now, I just want to thank you right here and now. Thank you, Lord, for Spirit known as Queen Aduni, who answered your call.
Yes.
Who answered your call.
Ashe.
All right. Without question. She didn't question it. She answered it. And she does it admirably. With love and honor for the spirit of the Elizabeth. So I thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you all for being my Elizabeth. You know, speaking of that, Mi'chael, the Elizabeths are what I've shared with you about Elizabeth, people that are pregnant with visions and dreams. Our brothers are as well. We're just focused on the female energy of it. So when we, you know, allow a brother to come in.
Okay.
That's some special sauce, baby.
That's
you
right.
Bring the special sauce.
Okay, Elizabeths.
So Mi'chael's going to share with us a little later about, you know, what he is pregnant with, very pregnant, very passionate about. And I wanted him to just come on in and join in and just get the feeling of the sisterhood here. And I haven't heard from Danni. I want to know what you was doing, also where you've been. To share as well.
Yeah. Well, y'all know I travel. I've been traveling. And I had an opportunity to go to the Living Enrichment Center in North Carolina, in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, for a spiritual retreat with the Yama and about 275 other people.
Wow.
And the grounds and the spirit of the place is just amazing. But the trip that I just got back from, I went to Jekyll Island in Georgia. And I wasn't aware of what Jekyll Island was or whatever, but I am firmly aware now of the richness of the culture of that space, that sacred space. They have, and some of you may have already heard, they have Driftwood Beach, where there's all this petrified trees and everything, but it was the entry point for the slave ships to bring the slaves to Georgia, and they landed there and walked the slaves to wherever they needed them to be. The first stop was Savannah, Georgia, back then. But to just be there on that ground and just be silent, and the feel of it was just, I can't even explain it, you know. And so it is, these places are reminders of the history of our people. And you know, and how dare us not be blessed? How dare us? not be blessed to where we are right here and now. When I look at the screen and the accomplishments and the sheer talent and creativity that I see, it's just amazing. Mama Razia, it's so good to see you. Mwah. Um, I mean, really, how dare you not be magnificent? How dare you not be, you know? And so my trips have been one of self reflection and self-awareness and absolute joy. It is tiring to travel, lugging suitcases and getting on planes and cancel flights and all of that, but the blessings outweigh all of that. So I am just looking forward to what Spirit has for me to give that I have received and been a benefactor of. So, and I never know when it's going to show up. I don't know how Spirit is going to show up. So, so yeah, so that's been I've got some more trips planned and some unexpected things because I'll see a concert in some place that's not coming to Detroit and I'll get on the train in a heartbeat. So I never know when I'm traveling. Sometimes I know, but most of the time I don't because I'm following Spirit. And
Well, we
so,
appreciate your sharing. Thank you.
oh, thank you, Deetra. It's good to see you. Tell your son I say hello.
Okay, I sure will.
So yeah, so all of you, and I take the Elizabeths with me wherever I go. I tried to get on one day and I just could not. It just kept dropping me and dropping me. And
Yeah.
when you are in those areas where the mountains and the reception is not really that great, but I take you all with me wherever I go. Thank you. Yes. Lolly. Miss Lolly, how are you, boo?
I'm great.
All
Um,
right. Did you say
Hello.
you were Grace or you were great?
I'm great. I'm
Yeah,
great.
and
Yes.
you are
And
Grace.
grace.
And Grace,
I'll take
yes.
that too.
I am gracefully great.
Gracefully great.
Love it. I love it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
well, thank you. So it's great seeing you again. I know you've been traveling, so that's been, it's been interesting not having you here. But now you're here, so thank you so much. Um, I today I think I'm excited. Well, not I think. I'm excited about today. So if you see my camera turn off, that's because I have to multitask. Got a lot happening. But I'm very interested to hear what Mi'chael is going to explain and talk about.
Yes.
But on that same note, I wanted to read something from a book that I have in regards to they titled it Unemployment and Bankruptcy. And this is actually from a leadership book for leaders within Nichiren Buddhism. And so before I read this, I just want to say most of the verbiage is anybody will take it and be like, oh, I get it. Some of it is specific to that organization of Buddhism. But what I want to say is, although we have different semantics, although our words may be different, or how we explain this purpose or this walk in life, or the teachers that we exalt may be a little different. Someone mentioned this maybe 2 days ago. One God, one spirit. It's all connected.
Spirit.
Okay, we all saying the same things, just different words. It's okay. It's just a language. It's all right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna read this passage and just mention a few things that that stood out to me in regards to financial abundance. So without further ado, let's see, where did I put this bookmark? Okay. So there's a quote in here that says, experiencing a failure in business, Sunichi said, doesn't mean that you have failed in life. As long as you persevere in faith, you will definitely become a winner in life. The important thing is to develop your faith steadily and patiently. When you lose your livelihood, a common tendency is to feel depressed. And if you have no apparent future prospects, you can easily become apathetic and despairing. If you're able at such a time to remain filled with life force, energized and ready to face the challenges before you, you can impart tremendous courage to others. Courage spreads with a ripple effect. In addition, when Soka Gakkai members are positive and energetic, actively taking on life's challenges, they demonstrate proof of the power of Buddhism to others. The power of religion is manifested in the way people live their lives. The coal mines may close and the economic situation may be bad, but the treasures of the heart cannot be destroyed. They don't disappear. And we can build anything with treasures of the heart. Adversity is a magnificent opportunity for each one of us to demonstrate the greatness of our Buddhist faith and practice. Whether we win or lose is determined from now. All that matters is winning in the end, and our Buddhist practice ensures that we can win. That must have been very difficult for you. But suffering, through the suffering you've experienced, it has made you into a person that can understand the suffering of others. It's a shame that the family business went bankrupt, but that happens frequently in our world. The important thing is not to go bankrupt as a person. Never be defeated. Even when you've overcome bankruptcy, you need to continue with your human revolution and perfect yourself, or you won't be able to change your karma. It is important that you continuously strive your hardest for Kosen Rufu, which is word peace, polishing and perfecting yourself in the process. So that reading, just a few things that bounced out to me. So the biggest thing is, continuing to have faith in your life, even at this moment. I'm not walking in financial abundance at this moment, but
Yes,
it
you
is
are.
happening.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Mi'chael. Yes, you are.
Yes. So that one of the biggest things is mindset. Employers, bosses, business people. They always talk about mindset. We even have a show that talks about mindset. It's about what you're thinking. It's all here. If you're, I'm broke, I don't have it. That you don't.
Yes, I just want to kind of before you go, just to add to share with what you were saying. Everything is spiritual first. So if you set your mindset first, and long as you consistent, it's all gonna show up. It's all gonna come. It's all gonna manifest itself. So don't say you're not rich, because you're already rich. You're already wealthy. We all are. We just have to have the mindset to accept and understand that as it comes. And when it comes, when it show up, you don't even realize. Sometimes people are living in things that they don't even understand or know. And then when they finally see it, they so far into it, they be like, man, I was already here.
I was already here.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Everything that God is, we already are.
That's right.
Yeah.
We already are. Now, what God's desire is that number one, we become aware of it, and then number two, that we live in it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. God said, what else you want? I gave you everything. I gave you everything you need to go on this journey. Everything. I even brought my son down here to show y'all how to do it. How to be it. Okay? But and we are. What I caught from that, Lolly, was if you went through a bankruptcy or you lost everything or whatever it is, don't bankrupt your spirit or your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bankrupt your heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to reread this right along with what you're saying, Lolly. This is in the A Course in Miracles. It said, holiness created me holy.
Holy.
Kindness created me kind. Helpfulness created me helpful. And perfection created me what?
Perfect.
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 And
what Danny was saying about what she was reading about not being in the past or the future, but being present right now. And right now we are perfect we are imperfectly perfect.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
yeah, thanks for reading that, Lolly.
Yes, that was great. And the Course in Miracles also says there is nothing my holiness cannot do. Nothing.
Can I share something before I forget? I want to add on to what Ms. Sheila was just saying. When I was in Mississippi, I was always in the future. I'm not Mississippi. When I made it to Atlanta, when I first made it to Atlanta, I was so focused on the future, and everything that's coming, the mark of the beast, everything that's happening, and the things that was supposed to come. And I should say the last woman I was with, I should say that the last one I was with when I was in Atlanta, she helped me, which I know that I see the timeline where I've been through, and she helped me realize that stop thinking about the future because you're in the now. And then she gave me this book. It's like a small book called In the Now or Now. And it helped me calm down. And it's so much I've been through in my travels from Detroit to Germany to Mississippi to Atlanta, then back home. And in those travels, I've gained a lot. And sometimes you can get caught up in certain things that you don't realize you're caught up in it. And sometimes that's why we need each other to pull each other's coattails. So when she gave me that book and I started really just meditating on that, and the creator, the Almighty, I like saying the Father because that was what I was raised on. But we all know it's the creator, the Father, the Father, or the consciousness, the universal consciousness that gives us all life. Puts us in a place that everything happens in a certain point in time. And then once we come to that point, we come to know what we need to know in that time, in that day, in the now. So once we understand that, we can see, to me, what I'm more of a man of. I'm a man of prophecy. So I was seeing so much in the future at that point in time, I had to be pulled back to understand that I'm now, but I can still see where we're going. So that's what I share most of the time. I'm a man mostly of prophecy, and according to where I get the prophecy from, which is from spiritual, or in the book that was given to us spiritual, this is where I get majority of my information from. Otherwise, it just comes to me as I'm speaking. A lot of times it just comes, it just comes, and I'm just sharing it as I go.
Mi'chael, is the book you're referring to, is that by Eckhart Tolle?
I think it might be. It's been. I mean, you talking about the now?
The power of the now.
Exactly.
The power of now.
It's been a long time since it's like a paperback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That.
And I just want to share.
Yeah.
I have a clock.
Okay.
And every increment says now. Every increment says now.
Oh, I love that.
It's now.
Oh, wow.
Now. Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes.
Because that's all we have. That's all we have. Is right now.
Is right now. Oh, wow. That's and with the power of now, dealing with fear or scared or what's going to happen, it just, what I got from that book was that in this moment of now, right now, I'm breathing. I'm okay. Even if I'm going through something, I'm here, and all of that stuff. So that power of now, when I would go through, if I'm, like the all the stuff that would be going on that's like make me cry, whatever. When I come back to now, there would be peace.
Yes.
Because I was even able to think now, bring it now. Well, you all right now. You eat no matter what you're going through, and the now, right now.
Yeah.
That's all, and that was all I could deal with is actually that moment. And I could bring it back from in the past. I could now.
Yeah.
Future.
Now.
All I have is Right now, there's no past, there's no future. So Nawili, and then Mi'chael, you can go. Nawili's hand is up.
Before Nawili comes, as you was talking about now, come on, Nawili. The Eckhart Tolle also says that the answer that you're looking for is in the now.
Yeah.
The answer that you are desiring is in the now. So when we get out of the future, as you said, Queen, get out of the past, you know, quit being drama queens and crazy kings, and when we stop doing that, the answer will rise up, and then you look back and you'll say, what was I tripping about?
That's right. Correct.
What?
And what I like to share is that everything is just like when you're going through certain things, a lot of time when you're going through those things, these are lessons for us in life. They're lessons. And also when you're going through something, when you have a problem, the answer is always in the problem. A lot of time we can't see it. The problem, whatever the problem is, the answer is always, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you just have to turn around and walk away.
Yep.
The answer is always there.
Always there.
Yeah. Nawili?
Yes. Great day, everyone. So just coming in, sort of, kinda. I'm grateful. So I want, is it Mi'chael or
Mi'chael.
Mi'chael. So just giving thanks that you're on this morning, and what I'd like to gift you with, not only reading you this AM, but I bought this a while ago. I didn't know who I bought it for, but I have something I want to gift you with. This is a watch, and it says now, and I want to gift you with it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
and I thank you all for having me as well.
That's beautiful.
Thanks for joining, Sunzi. Alita, Juanita, Lily P.
Grand Rising, my sisters.
Yes.
I wanted to add,
beautiful people.
rising. I wanted to add as well, speaking of now, and also spilling detail, that's cool. Speaking about what Queen Aduni mentioned earlier, perfection made me perfect, and talking about now, what can we do now? And it was even mentioned in what I was reading. What can we do right now to change this financial karma that we have? What can we look at from our habits right now? What can we look in our mindset right now? What can we do in this moment? Because if we're looking in the future, either direction, oh, in the future, I'm gonna be rich, you ain't doing nothing right now about it. So, or in the future, I'm gonna get evicted and I don't have no, I'm not gonna be able to pay, and I'm not, you looking at that way, that's not gonna help you neither. So really looking at what can I do right now to perfect myself, to work on myself as a person, as spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and also within my habits and financially. What can I do right now?
Right.
Because that's gonna help me later.
Yes.
Yes.
For anybody in particular?
I'm sorry.
Was that question for anybody in particular?
Oh no, general.
It was just just sharing. Yeah, because we have, all we have is now. So whatever you're doing now is creating your new now. You know, as we experience it is in the now. You know.
Yes.
So what are we creating? What are we doing right now? Because I just wiped off today. I said, well, I did that the other day. Okay, let me erase this and
clear the space. Yes. Clear the space. Like the reading said, we're carrying around, it's like carrying around a dead corpse. You know, can you just imagine carrying around somebody on your shoulder that's decomposing every step that you take? Well, that's what all of this muck and mire is that we're holding on to in the now, because based on oh, well, that's the experience that, that's what happened to me, and you don't understand, and whatever it is. Okay, is it happening to you now?
Right. You gotta get past that.
We have to get past that, release it. Okay, what is the lesson you take from it into the now that, as you say, Queen, can create right now, that can create a new now and a new experience for us. All right. What can we do? And like Mi'chael said, it's a lesson for us. What's the lesson? Get the lesson.
And I wanted to give it sounded like that statement sounded like a question, and that's why I asked, was it for anybody particular? But I would like to give an answer to the statement if it was a statement. And the best thing I can say is, wherever you put your mind to, and I'm gonna share it. Whatever you put your mind to, whatever it is, you got to stay consistent. Got to keep it going, just like this right here. I'm glad I brought it in here earlier. This is my product. I do alkaline water and alkaline teas, right? This is what I do. And ever since I started, I was consistent in it because it's something you have to believe in. Whatever it is that you do, you have to believe in it, not only for other people. First, you got to believe in it for yourself, because you have to know that it's good for other people. First, it has to be good for you. And then once you know that it's good for you, and then that would give you the mindset to me like, oh, I can help other people with this. Once you do that, you have to be consistent, because everything starts with the first step. Then once you get the first step going, then you can be consistent on what you're doing. And as you're consistently doing what you're doing, it's going to grow. And then as it grows, you'll start to see it blossom. A lot of times you won't see it blossom because you're so busy doing it. And when you sit back and take a step back, then you look and you see, man, this has become something that I didn't even realize it was going to grow to. But the point in getting to the riches and the wealth, you have to start with your first foot forward to keep it going. I can, all of us just say this, that, and the other, but it's about putting plan into action. And by putting plan into action, you got to stay consistent with the action of your planning of the product or whatever it is that you're doing, no matter what it is. And once you do that, it's just like a baby being born. A lot of time I like to say, it's just like having a bucket. It's like if you're having a bucket and it's stagnant with water. Once you put a tool in the water or a stick in the water and you start to turn it, it starts a momentum. And as you turn, the momentum gets faster. And as that momentum gets faster, that's your business running. And the momentum starts to pull people to you. It's the energy. And as it pulls people to you, then whatever it is that you started, you've already gotten started. So that's my example to that situation of the question was asked.
So you saying stir up the gift.
There you go.
Stir it up, y'all. Stir it up.
And make it happen. And make it happen. That's the key.
That's right. Stir it up.
So many people, they'll say, don't talk about your vision. Don't share with anyone. I totally disagree because, what you share, of course, but I've had people, and I have people who will say to me, when I give them the flyer, y'all, everybody need to get the flyer, I give them the flyer and they said, wow, you've been talking about this for a long time. They still remember. And the value of that I'm still talking about it.
You go.
Yeah.
Is what they admire and what they are impressed with and what they feel joy about and what they are encouraged themselves to keep doing what they've been doing and not judging, because that's what we do. We get into that judgment of what it should be right now, by now. And, we all have those shoulds if we haven't gotten past that in our lives. I should be all this stuff. I should be. But how can you should? How can? In this moment, you are the total of those choices and decisions. And I used to tell my son, he was like, it's all together. Why isn't it happening? Blah, blah, blah. I said, because that piece of paper that you had to fill out is probably sitting on someone's desk way down here and they haven't gotten into it yet, because we can't do anything in and of ourselves. We must have people who are engaged and, you know, and want to help and then do that. So just be in not even in judgment, just release the judgment and just be doing and praying and surrendering and joyful and sharing with one another. And someone else will say, oh man, that like all of you in my life, you know, some of you I didn't even know. And now, since even though somebody else brought you here, you know, now you my girl, you know, I'm calling you and stuff like that. Mama Razia?
I just wanted to share that it's very interesting, and I like some feedback. When I'm out at the market or walking down the street or whatever, run into people, and they say, oh, how you doing? And I'll tell them, yeah, we're doing this. You still doing those classes? You and it's like there is a misunderstanding of what purpose is, what a passion is, something that I've been doing for 34 years. And I walk into people who say, I can't believe you are still on that path.
Yeah.
And I often wonder, what do they mean? You know, what are we talking about in terms of not expecting things to continue, not expecting things to grow?
Yeah.
What's it about that someone say that?
Know, Mama Razia, I think it's because they are not, that's not happening in their lives. Because you remember about Elizabeth understands the life of Elizabeth. And those who have a 9-to-5 job, kind of, that's just one instance. They know that they don't get a raise until someone gives that to them. They don't get time off unless someone approves that. And so that's the life that they live. And so when they say to you, they didn't even tap into that that's your passion. They didn't even tap into that that's your purpose, that it was related as a job. You still doing that? You know, and so, well, one who is pregnant, also pregnant with vision, would understand the work of creating and manifesting, and that where you were when they saw you was perfect, and that was what they were supposed to experience. They didn't know that that was your lifeline, part of your lifeline, that thread. And if they don't pick it up, they just don't pick it up. Later they will, but you know.
But the soul has a purpose. The soul has a purpose. Mama Razia answered the call on her soul. And so I'm quite sure it doesn't look the same that it did when you first started, because now here you're bringing years and years of wisdom along with you to the journey. However, your purpose is not going to change. What your soul's calling is, it's not going to change. Nope. How it is manifested and how it is expressed, however, will shift through the years.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I wanted to share with Danni, I just loved to hear you talk about Jekyll Island and some of your experiences in those retreats. And during the years when I was very active with the retreats, I discovered that the most precious moments were those where we walked into a space and people saying, well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And I say, we're just gonna be there.
Yeah.
Allow ourselves to glean what God has planned for us. And when we did that, different members in the group had a meeting with spirit. I remember one woman running and she said, oh, my grandmother just came to me and welcomed me island, and we just had these wonderful experiences of being hugged. And
Yes.
it first happened to me, I was afraid. I said, oh, I'm choking, I'm just
Yes.
so warm. What's going on? Am I fainting? And then I realized it was a hug, real strong hug from one of the investors. So I just share with people, it's, we are used to planning and, what are we going to do? And then in an hour we'll be doing this, and then it's very valuable to have those times in our lives. We just be, and we let
Just be.
happens that hour or whatever amount of time it is to experience the plan that God has made. Because if we're too planned, if everything is at every 15 minutes we're doing this, and then next, we don't allow for that extra experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when it happens, and when spirit shows up, it is far more grander than anything that we could have ever planned.
Yes.
In a space or a time. Far grander.
Pam, Star. Thanks, Razia. That was delicious.
Yeah.
Star.
I wanted to say that our passion is not for us. It's for the world. And the fact that we're still doing it is because we haven't reached everybody. There are still people that need it, and people are being born into this world every day.
Every day.
So whatever it is that other people think about why we're still doing what we're doing, well, it's not for me, it's for the world. And when I reach everyone in the world, then perhaps there will be no need for me to do it anymore. And that will probably never happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I love it. I love it.
I'd like to just share that the world, everyone in the world is those that you are supposed to touch.
Yeah.
Not like every single person, but there are some people that have been spiritually marked. They type market. These people are who you are supposed to make an impact on with your gift, with your
gift. Yeah.
With your gift.
I want to say greetings, Star. How you doing? It's good to see your lovely face on the screen today.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
That's right. That's right. And also, I just wanted to share as well, that's a promise I made to the Creator when I went through my spiritual awakening. When I went through my spiritual awakening in 95, I told him if he brought me, just before going through it, I told him if he brought me to the truth, I'll put the truth in songs and writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. Now, when I said that, I didn't know how I was going to do it. Even though I'm a dancer, choreographer, and a performer, and I am a performer. And when I was in Europe, I helped sell $250,000 by first single. So that was in my mind of doing it that way through records. But I'm so thankful that he has this social media, internet, whatever you want to call it. This is how you can get to the world, because everything that not everything, but most stuff you put out is recorded. And then who needs to see what it is that whatever message that you have to give, they'll see it. Then not only they will see it, they will carry it. This is how come I know that what I'm doing and the things that let me just say this real quick to everybody. That's how come I know that I am that Mi'chael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Wake them out of the dead beds, which is really in their heads. Who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Mi'chael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mi'chael is really me. It's a lot of information I'm sharing with the world today that many are awakening to, and some know and some don't, but it's putting the puzzles together so people can see the prophecy and things that is happening in this day and time, according to things that's read that people didn't understand, and I'm bringing it to fruition so they can have a understanding, understanding, and overstanding of the knowledge that's put out there for us to know.
That right there, that.
Ashe, ashe.
And on that note,
yes,
why don't we go ahead and and let him flow. As I was sharing with you, Sunzi as well. Many of us know Sunzi already, that she has a lot of information on the same topics, sovereign. I don't know a lot about it, so I just know it as like being sovereign and taking back our rights and living, as he said, in the prophetic days that we are bringing forth, and things are unfolding, and all the things, as I said yesterday, that the matrix that we are living in. Some people are finding out how to step out. What is it? What color was the pill?
Red and blue.
Red and blue. And which one freed us?
I think it was the red pill. I think it was the red pill.
Some of us
taking
the red pill, and some are still gobbling down that blue pill. And
some of us was too scared to take either one.
That's right.
I'm about to say, yes, you're right. You're right. Like, yeah.
And truthfully, just to share before you go, truthfully, that pill is the knowledge. That's the pill.
That's it. Yeah.
So we've known Mi'chael for a few years. He's been coming to the shop and to my salon, the school, and we purchased his water, the alkaline water. Is so delicious. It's so clean, and so prayed for. And he can share what he does around his water and his drinks. But I really want him to share about the freedom that is right there for us, and what that process is, and give you more information about whether you want to take the red pill or the blue pill or neither one. Stay in limbo. Whatever happened. Okay. So Mi'chael, if anyone doesn't have anything to say before he starts.
Or you can ask questions as we go. However you want me to start, whatever you want it is, you can ask me a question. I can take it from there, or how you want me to go. It's up to you.
Well, I want you to start with you still call it indexing, or just what the process, or how did you get
I got
you going?
So maybe you want me to start off with indexing, how I got into it and everything from that point?
Yeah, or yeah, whatever you feel.
Okay. Well, first of all, like I said, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for allowing me to come onto your show, inviting me onto your show. What happened was that I'll go to the beginning of it. I won't go to the beginning. It's a long story, but I'm gonna shorten it up. When I left Detroit, I ended up going to Germany. I've always been a dancer and choreographer. Excuse me, sorry about that. That's one of my alarms going off. It's 9 o'clock. As I was saying, I left here to go to Germany to visit my sister. End up, like I said, I'm a dancer and choreographer. End up getting with a group called Imperial. We did a song called Bitty Bitty Beastie, which was our first single, we sold 250,000 of. After that, we made a 3 video before we put out our first album. In 1 year's time, I was there from June of 94 to June of 95. I'm giving you this to give you a rundown to get to where I am and how I got to where I'm at today. So I'm just gonna give it real quick and short. So after that 1 year of being with Imperial, I got out the group, and Imperial was of the Roman Empire. And the Bitty Bitty Beastie is I think Latin for I came, I saw, I conquered, which was of Rome, of Caesar, that we did. And the 3 songs were Bitty Bitty Beastie, Quo Vadis, and Nostra Cupa. After that year of being with them and performing, I got out the group. I was out the group, and then I started studying because it just hit me in my spirit. I was with that group for a year for a reason. There was a reason behind it, but I didn't understand it. So I started reading the Bible. I was over in Germany at the time. My mother sent me a Bible. I was reading, and I was planning on marrying the person I was with. I was with her the whole time I was there. We was planning on getting married. She was a beautiful woman, even though she was German. And then end up, my mother and them sent me a Bible. I started reading, and then I was reading the Old Testament, and then I read the book of Ezra, where it says when it got to the last two chapters and said that we have committed this great transgression by marrying strange women, these other people, might as well say. And it's like the book was talking to me, and I was absorbing it. And I cried like a baby. And that's when I made the promise. I made the promise. I told the Creator, if you brought me to the truth, I'll put in songs of writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. After that, something hit me and said, well, we don't live in the old no more. We living in the new. So I started reading the New Testament. And then right after that, I didn't tell you how bad I cried, but I'm trying to make it short. And right after that, I ended up getting to the 4th chapter in the New Testament. It said that the prophet in the New Testament went into the mountain, and then he fasted 40 days and 40 nights. Then I made another promise. I said, I'm gonna fast 40 days and 40 nights, and I know the Spirit said, or until something happens, because that came out as well, because I was just that serious. Went to my spiritual awakening. I fast 5 days. I just gonna say from the 1st of October of 95 to the 5th of 95, and I've seen things, felt things, and heard things in between that time. And then after that, by the end of that year of 95, I was guided to Mississippi. In Mississippi, I learned the Bible. Like you say, back and forth. I learned the Bible. I studied, learned, and I was guided there to learn and to know that. Still understanding that some of the dreams I had when I was in Germany, it was something that was showed to me that in the Old Testament, around between Genesis and Deuteronomy, it was in a vision. I was turning the pages, and it said, the words of this book is true. And that was in the beginning of the book. That was in the vision. So I'm in Mississippi now, learning the Bible. Now I learned the Bible very well. And then I was guided to Atlanta. Got to Atlanta, and then in 2004, ended up being in Atlanta. Was there. Now I'm starting to learn more information. Now I'm starting to learn about stones, crystals, words. Words are very powerful, how we use words, the way words are spells. I'm learning all this other information now, as well as understanding that this is still part of the information that's in the book, which is in the Bible. And then I'm also, before I left Mississippi going to Atlanta, I come to understand that a lot of stuff was placed in the Bible as well. Through our history, the New Testament was placed there by the King Constantine, the Council of Nicaea, and it was spread throughout the world by the Crusaders. Long story short, I learned a lot of that information as well. So I started to understand certain things in between that time. Now I'm in Atlanta, and I'm still thinking about the future and all this other stuff that's supposed to be happening and going on. So also information was coming to me as well, according to what's going on in today's time, such as being sovereign, the money system, the world of commerce, a lot of stuff, even the female coffins. Everything was just coming my way. It was like I was getting downloaded, and I was just sharing information out. And it's so much I can tell you at that point in time. But in 2009, I got my shop doing the alkaline water, and I also started a solving class. This is where I wanted to get to. Started a solving class in 2009, in November of 2009. I started doing my alkaline water and my dance class in April of 2009. So to get to the solving classes that I started, me and this guy named Calvin Mi'chael Harris Abbot, I actually had the place. I was good with putting events together, and he was the teacher of the class. So what we would do is I had a facility where we can all come, and he would teach. He would come about maybe an hour and a half because he had to get off work at the hospital. So I would always have another person come in, speak, and then he would come in and carry the class on until for the next hour and a half, maybe, or if it's that long. But the point is that I couldn't catch it. I could bring the people together, and a lot of people was beginning to come. They was beginning to go to court, stand in court, handle their own court case, challenge the jurisdiction and things like that. But I couldn't grasp it. I was getting it, but I couldn't get it totally. So afterwards, you know, we were together from November till June 2010. In June 2010, we split off because of, you know, different situations, what have you. You know, that's another story. But the point, we split off, and he didn't last 3 months. And we got to understand, when the Father gives us a purpose, it all depends on who he is giving that purpose to make things happen. So, and also that was my learning experience, going through that to learn what I need to know, as well as moving on till we got to the point to where I am today. Now, one of the guys that was coming to the class, his name is Edwin Wilson, and I always call him the doc. He's like a document man. I mean, when he come up with documents, and he was very good, and he's part of the Universal World Court, which is part of indexing. This is what I'm getting to now. Now, I ended up coming back home in 2014, and I was traveling back and forth to Atlanta because that's where I go get my tea kernels wholesale. So I was traveling back and forth. So I was in Atlanta in 2015, like in November, December 2015, and he ended up calling me saying, Mi'chael, you know, this guy named Dr. Henderson, man, he's this and he's that, and son of man, and he was telling me all this and that, right? Then he was telling me about, yeah, man, I got pulled over by the cops, and the cops pulled me over and said I was speeding, whatever, but they called and they ran my ID, and they came back, and I gave my ID back and told me have a nice day. Man, this is phenomenal. So he was real shocked about it. I was like, okay, good. End up, he was talking to me a few times while I was in Atlanta, came back to Detroit because I moved back in 2014. Now I'm in Detroit. Around January, we're still talking about it. You know, I'm still kind of, okay, I'm listening, but you know, I like to take my time when I'm doing certain things. So it was a sister here in Detroit named Queen Mother, rest her soul. She passed, y'all may know her. She here in Detroit.
Oshandara?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. She had I was staying with my auntie at the time, building myself back up, you know, get myself together here in Detroit. And she said, Queen Mother said, I just came back from getting indexed. I just came back from indexing. And we talked for a little bit about it. And right there, I like, this is something. Right there, I said, this is, what do I always call it? The words slip my mind. This is what
a confirmation?
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. They slip my mind sometime when I'm speaking. So yeah, that was my confirmation. So I said, okay. So I talked to Edwin then, that the plane ticket was a little bit nuts. I was getting a ticket because at that time we was going to Texas to get indexed. The people was going to Texas to get indexed. So my ticket came easy. Everything, the whole flow of everything went swell, went easy. So this was like around the end of February 2016, around the end of February. So I went out, flew to Texas, had a beautiful time. We made a lot of friends, got a lot of numbers, met Shelly, met Doc, and a certain situation happened while I was out there. A night that Doc came to the room after the indexing, Doc came to our room. We talked for about maybe a few hours or whatever. After he left, another situation happened. Maybe I'll tell you that at a later time. But after that, and when I on my way home, because I was there for about 2 or 3 days. On my way home, it's just like all the information from what I was learning in 2009 was just flooded in. It was just flooding. By the time I got home, I did a post on Facebook, and you can pull it up in the search engine. It's called "You Are a Product" by Eric Harris. Eric Harris on Facebook is my name. And also, just to share with y'all, I just want to put this in. Every other Monday, I do Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth on Facebook event page. I do it on the event page, but whatever with YouTube, what have you, but they stopped me for it. Mainly the main message is on the event page on Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth. So if you go to the event, you'll be able to see it. You'll see Daniel 12, colon 10, 12 and 10. You'll see that the scripture there, and you can actually invite yourself to the page, or you can go to the post when I'm doing it every other Monday. But just sharing with you that doing that, and then doing the post and sharing information and about indexing. My mind went away for a moment. So when I ended up going to get indexed, I came back, I did You Are a Product. When I did You Are a Product, it was like everything was just pouring in, and I was able to explain it. And as I've been going from that time, things has just been accumulating, it's coming to me. And as it comes, I've been doing what I promised. I've been putting it out there. I've been sharing it. Some people listen, many of them don't. Or like my wife saying, there are a lot of people, she think a lot of people be incognito. You know, they looking and listening, but they be incognito, so I don't see that they're online. So I don't know. My main thing is I promised the creator that if he brought me to the truth, what I would do. I'm keeping my promise, because Numbers chapter 30 says if you make a vow, you got to hold on to it. You're supposed to keep it. So that's mainly it on that point of coming into the indexing. And from that point, that's how I started on that. And my wife getting into it is another story. I can actually give you that as well if you like. But I just wanted to mainly give you that, just coming into it, so you see how I got to where I am, and by the confirmation, everything else happened. So I hope that wasn't too long of a short story, but I think it was short.
That's fine. Yeah.
It could be a little longer for me, because getting indexed, I'd like to know what that means. What
Yeah,
is
he's going to
that?
go into all of that. He was just talking
Okay.
about the how he
The
got to where he's at. Now we're
The
going to go
journey.
what it is.
Thank you.
And how important it is for us.
Right. You ready for me to go there? You
Oh,
ready?
it's your time, boo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure that I'm not taking too much time, but I want to make sure that everything is understood as I go. On Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, if y'all can remember that, you can go to the archive after here. You can go to, I just did one on the 29th, which was this past quote unquote Monday. And that was actually talking about indexing is over at this point in time. But before I go there, I'm gonna just bring you up to date. Long story short, me and my wife Joanne, which Sheila and Sister Star knows very well. When we got together, you know, we didn't just, I got to share with you just before how we got together. Then I can tell you her point of indexing. Then I give you more information about that and tells you what indexing entails. So I'm gonna give you this story as well. When I was in Atlanta, I was just before coming back to Detroit, before coming home. Around the time of the ending of August, it was a sister here that I knew in Atlanta. I knew her very well. She had did a reading one time, you know, she did a reading one time there, and whatever she did in class happened for me back in 2011, beginning 2012, before I got with the time I got with my last woman, saying that we were gonna get together, and it happened. So now it comes to the point where in 2014, around the end of August 2014, she said, Juice is my performance name. Juice, you need to be here in Detroit. They need your water here. This is where you're supposed to be. I said, you sure? He said, yeah, this is where you're supposed to be. They need your water here in Detroit. I said, okay, you know, I'll think about it. So, you know, me knowing I go on confirmations and things like that when the Creator, Father, the Almighty, the universe, the universal intelligence gives me information, I look at confirmation. So I said, okay. So I thought on it, lingered on it. So I made I talked to my daughter and I told her I'm gonna come up to visit. So I told him to come up to visit and I wanted to stay with you for maybe a month. Now at this time, you know, I didn't know I was coming to stay or not. I just planned on coming to visit because I didn't know about staying or not because that hadn't given me, didn't know if I was going to do that or not. But around the time of the ending of October or the beginning of November, this brother named Netter was at my home, right? We always play cards and stuff like that, but he was in the spirit because he's fast a lot. So he was in the spirit. He went through some of the things that I went through in Germany. He was going through at this time. A lot of people didn't understand when he was walking around the west end of Atlanta. Some people saying he going crazy, whatever, but I knew and understood what he was going through because I was going through it when I was in Germany. But he was at my house and he was in the spirit and he was asking me about the children. Long story short, he said, how many children you got? I said, I have 6. He said, how many girls you got? I have 3. He said, where are they? I got 2 in Detroit and one in California at the time. Then he said, not the ones in Detroit. He said, the one in California needs you. I said, she does? Then he said, wait, no. The one in California is fine. That's my youngest. Your daughters in Detroit need you, like that. And then he said, the woman you're gonna meet her in Detroit and she's gonna be with you. I said, oh, okay. And he told me some other things after that, which I believe is going on right now, which is one of the reasons I'm talking to you and the things that I've been doing all this time. But when he said that, I said, okay. So I made my move to Detroit. So when he told me that, saying my daughters needed me, and then he said the woman I'm gonna meet, I took that in consideration to what Akashi, whatever that was the sister name was, Akashi had told me in August, the end of August. So I made my move. I put everything in storage, made my move to Detroit, and came here the end of November 2014. So I'm here. I'm getting myself together. Now I got myself together. Now one of my brothers, Matthew, he's passed now. He wasn't a blood brother, but it was like he was a blood brother. Me and him and his wife, they got married, and right after the marriage, me and Joanne, we started talking. Now we didn't just get together, we started talking, and she was very devout into the Bible. So it was certain things I would say, well, we would have a conversation, and she would be like, I'll be like, that's in the Bible. She said, no, it ain't. I said, yes, it is. She said, no, it ain't. She said, where is that? Then I tell her, where is that? She'll go, she'll say, oh, right. So we did that a few times to the point where when I said it was there, and then she said, where is it? Then she said, okay, she'll look. So that started wearing her down because she started seeing that I was serious about the information, where the information was coming from. Now comes the indexing. She picked me up from work one night. Now I ain't thinking about indexing now because that was in 2016. Now it's 2000. We got together in 2017 around July. So she ended up picking me up from work. Now I think it's 2018. She picked me up from work. We're riding home. We're riding home. The cop pulled us over, right? And she didn't have any insurance on the car at the time. Now, y'all know you'll get a ticket for no insurance. Am I right? Well, right. So she didn't have any insurance on the car. One of the headlights was out. And I think that was the reason he stopped me, because the headlight was out. And I may have been going maybe 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit. So he pulled us over, came to the car, young cop, asked my, do you know why? He said, you're speeding and your front headlight is out. So he said, I still didn't know she didn't have any insurance. Gave him my identification card. He went to the car. Less than 3 minutes, he came back and said, have a nice day, Mr. Harris. And we drove off. She didn't say nothing. Within that next week, if not 2 or 3 days later, we was coming from Grosse Pointe. Got stopped again. And no, this was afterward because the front bumper was off at this time. Cop stopped me again. Say I may have been going about maybe 5-10 miles over the speed limit, whatever. I'm not going that fast, but a lot of times I don't pay attention to the dashboard. Cop pulled me over in Grosse Pointe. So asked my ID. I still didn't know she didn't have any insurance. She did. Asked for the ID. He went back. First he said, "Did you know your bumper was off?" I said, "Yeah, we just ordered it. It's supposed to be coming soon. We're supposed to be getting it on, what have you." Said, "Okay." Went, ran it. Within less than 3 minutes, came back. Have a nice day, Mr. Harris, and get some insurance. I said, "Thank you, officer." I always greet him with a nice, "Hey, how you doing, officer? How you doing today?" That's when they stop me. That's what I do. I always have a nice, pleasant attitude when they stop me. So he said, "Have a nice day." Now she asked me, "Why you ain't getting no ticket?" I said, "What, you want me to get a ticket?" She said, "No, I don't want you to get a ticket, but I'm wondering why you didn't get a ticket." And I said, "Well, I'm the son of the father." She said, "Well, I'm a daughter of the father, but I still would have got a ticket." I said, "Okay, I'll tell you later." So now I'm not thinking, I didn't think at first, and then started throwing. I said, "Well, this must be the indexing," because I remember when Edwin was telling me this before I got indexed. So now within the next week, I'm driving along by myself and I'm on Davidson and I turn on living noise, got stopped by a younger cop. That did let me realize this is it. This is the indexing. But long story short, I've gotten stopped about 6 or 7 times. All I was getting was, "Have a nice day. Have a nice day." Now me and Joanne is coming off a road trip. We've gone for about 2 weeks. Left from here, went to Alabama, to Atlanta, to Alabama, to Mississippi, Chicago. And on our way home, we was right up the street. On our way home, she said, "All these cops and police officers are stopping you on the street. They're city cops. Now, if the state patrolman stops you and he say, 'Have a nice day,' I'm getting indexed," right? So less than 5 minutes, it was practically after the words came out of her mouth. Cop pulled, he was coming around and I was on cruise control. So I cruised on around him and he flicked me. So I stopped. "Hey, Mr. Officer, how you doing?" "Well, where you going? Where you come from?" I guess he was upset because I didn't slow down. I'm on cruise control, so I wasn't speeding. So because I didn't slow down or get scared because of who he was. So I said, "I'm coming from a road trip." "Yeah, well, where you going?" "I'm going home." "Where you coming from?" "I'm coming from a road trip." You look in the back seat, seen the bags in the back seat. "Okay, yeah, whatever." He get my ID. He go to the back. I said, "You just got through saying?" She said, "I just got through saying." I said, "Yeah, you did." So he go back. Now he back there like about maybe 5 to 7 minutes because he see the information. And like I said, this is either my 7th or 8th stop with this state patrolman. Next thing you know, he come back. And this is about like 7 minutes later. I'm gonna let you off with a little warning, Mr. Harris. What I would like for you to do is speed up. Never told him what the warning was. Speed up and come up at the next exit. I said, "Thank you, Mr. Officer." He said, "Okay. And also, have a nice day, Mr. Harris." Right then, Joanne, and I believe I was going through all that so she can understand and be convinced what indexing was or what indexing is, because I'm gonna get to a point to you of what happened, what I just shared with everyone this past Monday. So now she has got an index. Now we're sharing information with a lot of people. Now we're doing indexing classes in Detroit. If you get time, go to the Facebook page and go to indexing classes in Detroit and go to my past links, and then you'll see all the information. You also get it on Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube. You can put it in the search engine, indexing classes in Detroit, indexing classes in Mississippi, well, actually Atlanta, and indexing classes in Mississippi. We did 2 in Atlanta and 1 in Mississippi. And it's a lot of information there. And we went to Atlanta, we indexed plenty of people in Atlanta. We went to Mississippi, we indexed a few people in Mississippi, but we was getting people on the email, contacting us and everything. And it's a lot of information I'm gonna share with you according to what happened with this situation, because after that time, now, even though when you now I can tell you when you get indexing, it puts you on the do not detain list. What I mean by the do not detain list, we're not supposed to be arrested because we are quote unquote sovereign. Sovereign means to be free. You're a free principal, not sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. A citizen is a ward of the state, but sovereign means to be a free entity. We are free principles unto the Father, the Creator, the Almighty. This is who we are. We are born flesh. We're alive, as we all know. We're spiritual beings, living in a physical body. So we are spirits living in a body, and we are children of the Almighty. But what has happened is at birth, and I can go into sharing the information. At birth, when we were born, they put a cap on our heads. I call it a cap because the cap isn't you. It's not a part of you. It's not a part of your physical being. It's something that was put on you. And by being put on you, it becomes a part of your quote unquote livelihood, but it's not you. And we don't know that. And it's called what some people on here may know, but what we call the straw man. And that cap is the name that you're given at birth in all caps. In all caps is the straw man, which is your birth certificate, which is the name, the social security card, which is the number that you'll find in Revelation chapter 12. I'm sorry, I apologize. Revelation chapter 13. The name and the number. No man can buy or sell without the birth certificate or social security card. And once you get up in age to like 18, they give you an ID card. That ID card has your birth certificate and social security card connected to it. And by being connected to that ID card, all your information from the womb to the tomb is in that information. That's the reason why the police officers always ask you for your ID card. So the ID card in the corporation is your driver's license or your identification. But according to us being a sovereign free principle, that ID card is nothing more than a photographic representation of the beneficiary. We are the beneficiaries to the trust. Now, the birth certificate, social security card, and the driver's license or your license or your ID card is a representation of the trust. The photo on that card is the representation of the beneficiary. We are the beneficiaries. The system is the fiduciaries. And I've shared that information on what the fiduciary, right here. I shared that information on what the fiduciary is. Would y'all like me to read that, or y'all just want me to go and just finish telling the story? It looked like somebody going to sleep.
You to read it.
Nope, I'm listening.
Yeah, I couldn't read it.
Okay, well, I'm bringing information. Just the difference in the fiduciary, the responsibilities of the fiduciary, the executor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. Now, this is what I shared Monday as well on the 29th and on some of the other calls as well. But fiduciary responsibilities are, fiduciary obligation includes a duty or loyalty, a duty to exercise responsible care and skill, and a duty to deal impartially with beneficiaries. Meaning that they're not to deal impartially, they're not to have no favor or anything with the benefit. We are the live living being. We are the beneficiaries. The fiduciaries are the executor and the trustee. Now, executor responsibilities. An executor typically offers the will for probate, takes action to protect the assets of the estate, makes distributions of property and to beneficiaries, and pay the debts and taxes of the estate. Now, the estate, let's just say you have a ticket. You're the beneficiary. By you being the beneficiary, and this is what I've come to know in my time out of the 16 to 17 times I've got stopped, I've only gotten 6 to 8 tickets, right? All the tickets has been thrown out except for 2 court cases that I've been going through, right? And by going through and those 2 court cases, they just kept me running back and forth to the court. But before I went through that, I was trying to get my paperwork from the Universal World Court, which holds the indexing. Now, they couldn't give me my information from there for whatever reason, but I believe all that happened for me to go through. I went through to share what I'm about to share with you right now. I went through that, and then I couldn't get my paperwork when I got ready to go to court. So I prayed to the Father, to the Creator. Y'all say, Sister, Father, however we call the universe, because it's all spiritual. I like to say Father because that was what I was brought up on. So, and I say Creator as well to try to be neutral. So I prayed to the Creator and told him that I need help because I'm going to court and I need to know what I need to do. He ended up guiding me to this guy named Christopher Hauser. And I started studying. And as I started studying, one of the things that's on the post, if you go into my Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, if you go in the post and you read down all my information, you're going to see I have a portion there when it talks about challenge jurisdiction and also settlement and closure. In settlement and closure and challenging the jurisdiction, what it was is I went in and I challenged the jurisdiction because I'm not a part of that jurisdiction. But the first time I went to court, I didn't know this information. I didn't know this information at the time. I just knew some of it. I knew of it, but I had my wife write it out because I ended up type it out because we ended up finding out more information. Like I said, we was accumulating information at that time. So what ended up happening was, well, let me go first, the executor responsibility. An executor typically offers the will for probate, takes action to protect the assets of the estate, makes distributions of property to beneficiaries, and pays the debts and taxes of the estate. I think I just shared that. We're not supposed to pay for anything. We're not supposed to pay for homes. We're not supposed to pay for cars. We're not supposed to pay for land. We're not supposed to. This is our birthright from birth. We're not supposed to pay for anything. We are born, like I said, we're born in the trust is made $1 million at birth. And as we grow older, it accumulates. And I'm gonna give you a number before this is over. By the time I get to reading this, I'm gonna give you a number that you can actually call and see how much your worth is in the 10 to 12 banks of the Treasury. And this is what Dr. Henderson is actually blocking them from by getting you indexed. When you get in, everything is about the trust. Everything that's going on is about the trust. How we get paid, how they get paid, everything, who you are, according to your birthright, which is your birth certificate, which they took by having a birth certificate and social security card, because they have made you the fiduciary and they have claimed to be the beneficiary because we're being, shall I say, double cursed. We not only supposed to get it for free, but we're just like the sister was talking about earlier about working. We're working for a system. When you, I get to going fast, excuse me. When you purchase a vehicle, when you purchase a home, what they do when you sign that receipt, whatever. Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
Contract.
Perfect. Once you sign that contract, it's paid for. It's already paid for. They go in your trust and take it. But you don't know that. So you agree to pay such and such an amount of money. So you're double paying on something that you already paid for. We're paying on something that's already paid for, not knowing it. And also, there's other information on Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, 8/15/22. you'll see me sharing information on the 1099A, and I got in the topic, you'll see the information there on 8/15/22, Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth. I put everything in by dates. Got the same title, but I put everything in by dates. But now the trustee's duty. A trustee has a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of both current and future beneficiaries of the trust. Trustees can be held personally liable for any breach of that duty. And when you go to court, the trustee is the prosecutor, the judge is the executor. And as I was sharing with you, after challenging the jurisdiction, I tell them that I'm here for settlement and closure. And they'll try to get me and pull me. I don't want to talk about nothing. I'm here for settlement and closure. That's all I'm here for. They try to, and you can actually go to that post. I got links there when it says my time in court. You can actually, and I recorded them. You can actually tap the link. It's going to come to me to share back to you, that you can just listen to the court cases in and out. The one in Redford County, the one in Redford, she threatened to put me in jail for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I even told her that if you keep proceeding in the first one, if you keep proceeding with these proceedings, I'm gonna have you arrested. She said, "Are you threatening me?" And that's in the post. You can actually check it. Like I said, you can go to one of the archives or one of the Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth and look down the post. You can see the information. But now the role of the beneficiary, a beneficiary collects what was given to them. That means that, like I share, my example, I always give this example. Just imagine you were a child and you was adopted, right? You were adopted. When you were adopted, you didn't know you had $10 billion in the bank. When you were adopted, you didn't know you had $10 billion in the bank. The adopted parents, as you was growing up, the adopted parents would take care of you. They get you everything you need, go into your quote unquote trust fund, you don't know, they're going in to get it. And they would give you everything you need. They would take care of you until you're grown. Once you're grown, you go out and you start to work and everything. And if you need something from your actual parent, they're going to your trust fund and give it to you. Like a lot of people get welfare and all this other stuff, that comes from your trust. All these different things come from your trust. When you sign on a dotted line, they go into your trust to give you these things, but they give it to you in increments. Because we don't know that they're actually supposed to give us everything, or should I say, everything for our needs. They're supposed to go into the trust and share with us or help us out. But we don't know that. So now you're grown, as I was saying, and you pass on. Once you pass on, they can take the funds from the trust and use it for their means. The system, that is. So the parent, in this case, the parents is the system. By the parents being the system, they're doing what they can for you, but we're not knowing, as we're coming into the day, in this day of time, in this time of, right now we're in the day of, we're in the beginning of the great substance. We're in the beginning substance. So this is, and by us being the beneficiary, and we're putting them on notice and letting them understand by speaking it out your mouth, and you'll see in the post, as I was sharing with you, settlement and closure, you'll see how to come with that information, because I actually prayed, and the Creator brought me someone to give me that point of matter to add with the challenging the jurisdiction. From that point on, I've been good. I mean, I just know that everything that has happened for a reason, for me to help and be in the position I am today, helping and sharing and giving people the information in order to stand according to the court system as well. But indexing is part, or should I say, indexing is of or part of the Great Reset, not the Great Reset, the World Reset. The world is going to a different change. It's going through a change right now. A lot of people see it, a lot of people don't. And I like to say, I call it the satanic system, which has been in power. And if you listen to on the post, I have it's a he sued. When he sued, it's gonna come to me in a moment. When he sued the Vatican, the Pope, the Queen of England, and also the United States, which Dr. Henderson did. This is how everything started to come about. He sued them, and then by suing them, he won his case. Class action lawsuit. Thank you. I knew it was gonna come. Class action lawsuit is in the post as well. You can tap that, and you'll hear Shelley Bowling sharing the information on the beginning of the indexing up to where it is today, and also the class action lawsuit where 198 nations jumped on the class action lawsuit after he sued the corporation. The corporation is the Queen of England, the Pope, the Vatican, and also their strong arm is the United States Army, Air Force, Marines, what have you. They're the strong arm. So he sued them, and by suing them, he won his case. And now this is the Creator's kingdom building at this time as the satanic kingdom falls. Now, getting to the end of the point, to where we are today. Since I've known, since 2015, he's been indexing people, and other people have been sharing information. Other people have been sharing information. Other people have been sharing information. Me and my wife has been doing it, like I say, indexing classes in Detroit, indexing classes in Atlanta, indexing classes in Mississippi. And we're at the point now where indexing for free has been closed. If you go to Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, 8/29/22, I got it in the post and under the topic that indexing for free, index for free is over. And then I got also in there the fees. Now you have to pay a fee to be indexed. It's a certain amount, which I'll just tell you. It's $750 individually, and it's $1,500 per family. And the family consists of either a man and his family, a woman and her family, which is the children, woman and children, man and children, or a couple with children. And the children can be from 20 years old and under. That information is in there. And also I have a link in there where you can tap it and you'll hear Doc, then you'll hear Shelley. And Shelley's gonna go on to tell you about the grace period is over, because they said in 2021 that this was gonna be the last year. And the grace period was from May of 2022, May 23rd, 2022 to August 23rd, 2020. So now, if anyone wants to be indexed, they have to be they have to pay, as far as I know. If anything else other than that, I don't know. But other than that, we've been sharing this information for quite some time, sharing information, and in the archives on SOBCPR.com, SOBCPR.org, you can hear all the information they've been sharing since 2014, I believe.
I say. Does anyone have any questions so far? Before I get to,
I had to unmute myself.
Sanjay, before I get to you, go ahead, Mama Evelyn.
So the question was, can you be indexed if you're already working? You're working, because my daughter has been working, for a long time. And so can you still become a sovereign, be indexed and become a sovereign? Principal, yeah.
Yeah, principal to the Father. You carry on your life like you always do. I mean, you can do everything you've been doing. It's just that when you get indexed, what they do is that it covers you in the system. That's the reason why when we get stopped, when they pull us over, it covers you from, should I say, might as well, like I say, it's a trust action. It covers you in your birth certificate, social security card, and your ID card. Because when they stop you, all your information comes up and they know that you're not to be detained. And also, as you were saying, that no matter if you're working, doing whatever you're doing, it protects you. Even when it came to the time where people, when they was being quote unquote forced to take the vaccine, it's your protection. This indexing protects you from the system, the satanic system, because you don't belong to that system anymore.
Okay.
But while this system, which I call the satanic system, was falling, they were still in power and they were still able to manipulate people. And by them being able to manipulate people, a lot of people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So that's why they get you in the court. So they can, what they'll do is they'll get you in the court by giving you a ticket. And like I say, I don't sign nothing. I don't go in there, I don't sign no ticket. I don't sign my name when I go in. I don't pass the bar. I don't stand. I don't do any of that. And you'll hear some of that information in the links that I've shared with you on the Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, and also in the indexing class in Detroit. I've accumulated information along this time for people to go in, check them out, and I put them in links where they can go and check the information out. And Christopher Hauser has really given a lot of information to understand, to know where we stand there. Many of you may have heard or taught or listened to him, but then many people haven't. But the point is, the information is pertinent, the information is valid. Now, even though some people look at him, well, he's a Caucasian, he's white, what, don't make a difference. Knowledge is knowledge, and knowledge is power. Excuse me, let me do this real quick. One of my here we go. One of my devices is getting a little low. 1 second, please. Thank you.
While you pulling that together, Sunzi is also involved. And I'd like for her to share her knowledge about, because I know she stood in court. When I heard about it, I was like, that girl, yeah, about what it takes in her process and stuff. If you could share, Sunzi.
I'm still learning, and they booted me off Facebook, so I won't be able to access your Facebook page. I've been picking up a lot of knowledge from YouTube and from my daughter and grandson, who's also doing a lot of studying. My husband, who died, was an ex-federal judge, and he gave me a lot of information. Before I knew him, I was getting information, and the Spirit told me that I would be able to crack enemy code. And then this book came, and you probably know about the book called Cracking the Code.
Cracking the Code, yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah, but then since then, I've been getting visions, not totally understanding it, but had vision. One was of, let me see if we can make this.
No, it's kind of blurry.
Yeah, still blurry. This is Uncle Sam dying on the square. And oh, here we go, a little bit more. You can see his head at the square, and how his arms are way off the square, indicating his interference into all of the markets on the earth. And then they told me that there was going to be judgment on the earth. Half of the earth would, like, 45th parallel up, and then the rest of the earth underneath was free. I think I mentioned several times that we were told that those light workers that left Detroit will have to return because they have work to do here. And I saw the face of Mary Young and the Queen, some of you know her. She used to talk a lot on the radio. They've come to me to let us know that we have to protect the city of Detroit because this is Mecca. This is a lot of the place where we have to do things. They gave me a vision. They gave me the name of a book and the vision of the title that needs to be on the cover of the book. Piercing the Serpent's Veil.
Okay, we see it, yeah.
A lot of the information that you gave, minus the indexing, is in the book. I give a lot of proof of how Britain, the Pope, the Queen, the Ashkenazi Jews, the G7, all of them are together in stealing our freedom.
Yeah.
And how we really never have to go into their courts if you know that they're dead and we are alive.
That's right.
Simply an affidavit, because we are the L's and the Bays. The L's make the law, the Bays are the enforcers. With an affidavit, we squash them because we put all the laws and the truths in it and we send it into their courts. But the thing is, when you send in an affidavit to them, they'll turn it over and it'll be a blank page. They act like they don't see it.
Right.
So what you have to do is put a stamp in the bottom corner of the back of the page, put a 2-cent stamp with your name signed catacorner through it with the date on top. I have a lot of documents like that so that they will honor it, because that makes you the postmaster. They can't even arrest you.
Hold that up again.
I'm sorry.
Can you hold that up again? What you just had? Because it was blurred. We couldn't see it.
No, it's blank. This is blank.
Oh, that's blank. I
Yeah,
got
this
you.
is blank. So what they do with affidavits that you send into the court, they turn it over to the blank side and act like they never saw it. But when you put that stamp on there with your fingerprint, your red fingerprint, like this is the stamp, you have to go over the stamp. So if they decide to peel it off, they can still see that there was something on there making them fraudulent in their actions. So there are a lot of things that we can do. I talk about it in the book. I try not to give them my signature, my fear, and my energy, because by doing so, that puts them in control of everything that belongs to you. When you pierce through that veil, get all that energy out that belongs to you, then you have won. But realize fighting for your freedom right now is a never-ending process. You always have to be vigilant. And this is not for the weak. Right. You have to study. You have to, like me, I'm lazy. I ask the Spirit to send me what I need. And it comes when I open up my internet through people like you, Mi'chael, through people like my husband, through other people, the different brother bays that bring information. And you have to meditate on that. Right. And use that information. And since I don't know what information to use, I use a pendulum to ask my ancestors, to ask my husband on the other side now, who would definitely, oh, let me see what happened.
Is she there?
Something happened with
figuring
her.
out what happened. And so do you, sister, do you have any questions? I know this is a lot of information and it's, you know, like, well, what do I do with this information? And, you know, how is it beneficial for me? Why would I will something happen to me? Can they take me to jail? You know, how much studying will I have to do? Is this part of the rest of my life that I have to, you know, because some of us are 60, 50, 30 and all that, and have been doing things in a whole different way. How much do I have to change? I was saying to you all that the bank, I was watching something and they said, they were talking about the bank system, and they were in particular talking about overdrafting, and overdrafting is a volunteer. But when we sign the paper, that's, you know, we don't have to pay that 30 something dollars, but we are so used to just when we get the paperwork, I need you to sign this and sign this and sign this, and we just go to signing it because it's got to be general. Everybody signs it, you know, and not reading it. You do not have to pay overdraft fees. That is not law. That is something that they put in there. And when we sign the paperwork, then it gives them the right to do it. And they have made billions of dollars off of because one year I added up mine and I had paid them over $1,000, you know, because of the overdraft fees. Danny?
Oh, it is fascinating, and I have a sense of what indexing can do, but I don't have the full picture of what it is. Okay, I know what it can do based on your stories and all of that, but what actually is the indexing? Or is that something that you have to come to the class to?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked that question like that. Actually, indexing is just when you get a book. Don't you have a book that have index that gives you? This is what indexing does. Is putting you in the new system of the world that's being created today. When I say created, it's changing. The world is changing now. And in Revelations 12, verse 12, I didn't go there. Actually, I was going to share some information right here about what the sister said about praying about us. We have to pray for our city. I was going to tell her to go to Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4 through 7. 4 through 7, Jeremiah chapter 29, about seek the peace of the city, pray for the city, because the Father caused us to be carried off to Babylon, whether it's old Babylon or the Babylon we're in today. But the indexing itself, what it is taking you out of the old. That's the reason why we're on the do not detain list. You understand what I'm saying? That's the reason why, yeah, we're on the do not detain list. But see, you have some of the officers, you have some of the judges that try to, they're going to, I'm gonna say Esau, but you know how the enemy, I'm just gonna say the enemy, you know how they're going to try to disregard what they have. They're supposed to go by protocol. Also, they uphold the Constitution. The Constitution, what we have is law. What we have, that document is law. According to now, we come to know who we are. So what they try to do is still try to keep you in their system by thinking you are ignorant to the information that's in their information, thinking you don't know it. So the point is that this is the reason why I believe that I was guided through Christopher Hauser to learn how to stand in court, just in case if you had to go that way. I placed information there so people can know how to stand in court if they needed to, what to say, and not how to say it, but what to say and what to do. I put the information there. Now, I wish the sister was here because I would have told her she could still go just put in Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth in Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and some of the recordings will come up. And Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, and also indexing classes in Detroit, Atlanta, and Mississippi, they'll come up in one of those search engines, and she can see some of the information. But the post is so long, a lot of the other posts, the other page, or should I say the other sites, can't get all the information. So I had to post some of the information in what I could, but if someone can text her the information, she can get it.
Yeah, she's on. She's back.
Okay.
Did that answer you, Danny?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I
Sanzi?
have
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had another question. How long are the class? How long does the class go on, and how young can the participants be? I mean, my grandson's 11.
I'm sorry. I'm saying when you say the classes or the index.
The indexing. How long is that? And yeah, you said children under 20. So yeah, my grandson who's 11.
Yeah, 20 and under, they are part of the family, according to now, as of after the 23rd. They're part of the family. If I was gonna say that I got the information on there how you get indexed as well. All the information that you need is in that post.
Okay.
Okay, can't before you go, Santi come back. Mi'chael, can you say some things that we have to do, like you got to get your birth certificate?
That's what I was going to say.
And just those basic steps to get started.
And mainly, what I would like to, if y'all writing down, I hope, first thing I like to say, write down SOVCPR.com.
SOB as in boy?
B,
oh,
as
SOV.
in sovereign. Sovereign.
Okay.
SOV. And then CPR, pulmonary resuscitation. I guess that's the way my wife called it. I'm hard with that, but
it's pulmonary. Pulmonary.
You know what I'm saying? See?
I just had it in my mind. I used to teach. So.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so yeah. I'm typing this in the chat as you're saying. So if you could just SOV as in Victor, CPR.
Go
ahead.
SOVCPR.com and
we lost you.
What did you say? .com and yeah.
And .org. Yeah, what I'm about to do, I'm gonna go ahead and get this information for you.
Is it .com and .org or?
Yeah, either you can do it. It's two sites.
Okay.
Is it the same information on both sites?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to. I don't know how much of you can be able to get. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to do a little something.
Are you putting something in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Can you still see me though?
No.
Okay, great. Well, not great, but I'm getting ready to share some information in the chat. So I did. The reason why I know, because I just did this past. I just did it this past. Was that Monday? We had this past Wednesday we had a conference call, and I just shared some information. And matter of fact, that's going to be in the next information as well. It's called. I call it the chat that we did. I call it the manipulation of the corporation. That's what I call it. So that's going to be in the next chat. But I'm going to send you right now what I did on the 29th. I'm gonna put some of this in the chat so y'all can have, because I had did this actually at that time as well, not knowing I can do it, but glad I was able to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but otherwise I can still speak while we're doing. But other than that, copy. Go back here. Okay.
Razia.
I appreciate the discussion today, and I have questions regarding the people who are successful with this. that are walking among us? And are there ways for us to have more faith? I personally know 3 women. I am close friend to Queen Mother Oshindara, and I was aware of how much struggle she had with the, I guess she was indexed, or maybe that was incomplete, but she would get stopped right here in the Detroit streets. She found out she needed to avoid going into Highland Park because folks were just waiting there on Woodward. But she was stopped on 7 Mile, and she called me, and the officer said, you know, I'm taking your car. And so she called me to come over and pick her up. And they allowed her to get her groceries. She said, well, let me get my groceries out of the back. But they impounded the car to great expense for her. And she had been involved for years, you know, and she had the fight of trying to save her house and not pay taxes. So I have some concern about the incomplete nature of sharing information here in this area. I know 2 women who lost their homes, and they had been going to classes and so forth. So we just need to make sure we are getting enough, and I think that's part of what you're sharing with us, have enough information, do a thorough job so you'll be prepared. But I never understood why these things were happening to Queen Mother, because she was our shining light example of someone who was going all the way with this.
Exactly.
And she traveled, she did classes, but in the long, she lost her home. She lost everything.
Queen Mother?
Yes.
I can expound on that a little bit as to why she lost, because my husband tried to help her and another friend of mine tried to help her. But what she did was she took too much information from too many people, canceling out what the legitimate that she had.
Yeah.
And because she knew all these people, she put aside one person's information and then she took somebody else's information because she never understood the basics. And that's what got her evicted and all of that. Now, I've been evicted. I've been to the courts. I've been, what you have to do when you stand in the court is stand with your power intact. You cannot let them diminish you and your power at all, because then that tells them that you don't know who you are.
Exactly.
And when I went in, hi, Alita.
I got something to say as well.
Okay, when I went in, I was being evicted from a house I wasn't even supposed to be in. And what I know is that the government, the banks, and none of them are supposed to own property by law. If you don't have the law in your head, let me just give you 2 or 3 things that you need to know when you go in there. You are superior. You are the living woman. Your birth certificate, when it was signed, made you dead. They are considered dead. When you walk in there, realize the dead cannot talk to the live. So when I went in, the attorneys, they you know, when the judge come in, everybody stands. I remain seated. So everybody is looking at me like, oh, you're gonna get in trouble because you were sitting down, you didn't stand up, you didn't honor the judge. Will realize that they cannot communicate with me because they're dead.
That's right.
Now, when the judge started opening the floor for me to talk, I immediately jumped in and said, who gave you the right to interfere with an indigenous woman on the land that God gave us? And then the attorney started talking. I said, you be quiet. I am the living person. I am the superior in this court. Now, this woman who would call herself the judge, named Michelle something, I never addressed her as judge. I never said miss or anything. I call her by her first name.
Yeah, same here.
And then I put my own judgment on the record and I walked out. Couple of months later, They still can't evict me. It took them some time, but I didn't know what to do beyond that. And so they won. However, we have to take care of things on paperwork so that we never enter into their jurisdiction.
Right.
They don't have jurisdiction over us. We are the superior ones, and you have to make that statement. You know, at one point she said she was going to arrest me. I asked her, how are you going to arrest me? Is this a civil or criminal case? She said, civil. Civil, you have to have a contract. I said, do I have a contract with you? She said, no, you don't have a contract. But I said, but nothing. You're not going to make a contract with me. I put my own judgment on the record. I wrote it out. I gave it to the bailiff. I told him to give it to Michelle. And she nodded her head to receive it. And from then on, I read it and I walked out. Now, what you were saying, Razia, how do we stay out? You have to do it via affidavit and realize that the courts are all in cahoots against you.
Yes.
So you have to do an affidavit with that stamp on the back, because then you could do more from there. It's going to take some studying or whatever. I've been in my apartment for about 2 years, and for the last year, I didn't pay a dime. They kept trying to threaten me and blah, 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 blah. But the wording that I use in my affidavits, because the manager of the apartment said, we're going to take you to court to evict you. But the information that I put in the affidavit that they shared with the judge, let the judge know they couldn't do anything. So they haven't been able to do anything. And every time they send me something, I send them something back. The last time I told them I was sending a copy to the Department of Justice and to the United States Supreme Court of all communications that we had. So I have heard nothing from them since. Still an ongoing process. In case they come up with something else, you have to have something else to give to them. Oh, what I wanted to say, if you use the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, the Constitution for the United States, not of the United States, and Article 6 of that Constitution, and you stand on it, there's nothing they can do, because they cannot bring back anything that is superior to that. That's Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Article 23 as far as monies are concerned, but all of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is important. The Constitution for the United States, and especially Article 6, because it references the treaty. And there's Moorish jurisdiction, which Moor is a political designation, which encompasses all of the tribes here in America. And then you go from there with your study. So we just all need to get together and do this like Mi'chael did. We can all come on, we can make this a day where we all bring our information and promote it one among each other. Authenticating the birth certificate is very important. You need to learn more about your QSIP numbers, which is on your birth certificate and on the back of your Social Security card, all of these types of things. I gave up my driver's license. They don't have anything over me like that. Indexing, I don't know exactly what that is, but I've been working with a brother who claimed to be the head of state using that information. I am considered a consular court specialist on my ID. And whenever I go into the banks and credit unions, they're not used to this kind of ID because our people don't know anything about how to obtain the freedom and getting your own ID. So they don't want to honor it. And the first thing I tell them, my ID is superior to the license and passport of anybody else that come in here. And if you don't accept my ID, it is, you are, I'm sue you, first of all, because my information is superior. My government is superior to yours. Your government has a treaty with us. And what is it when you call it racism or whatever? I tell them that they are discriminating is what it is. You are discriminating against my nationality, and I will sue you, and then they will accept it. I tell the manager that, I tell everybody that. I said, put my ID on your file. And that's how I get my financial business taken care of. And that's what you have to do. You have to fight. You have to stand up.
Yeah.
Bottom line, if it's not in you, keep going in the system because you will get called in on it.
Now, just to share what you said, when it comes to I share with you more than enough in the chat. So if you go to the chat, everything that I was sharing when it comes to indexing, the information on how to get it, even when I say the manipulation, this is a great video. I think it might be one of the last ones. I call it the manipulation of corporation. I call it the manipulation of corporation, but really is this brother Ajax. We have a call on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. We have a call on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and in that information, and this is going to be on my next Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth that's coming up on the 12th, I believe. I got that in that post because that information is sharing. A lot of us are sharing some of the information I've shared here, plus more information is on there as well. And it's a YouTube link, so you can go to the YouTube, listen to it, check it out. Matter of fact, it's in the chat. You can check it out and listen to it. But with a lot of this being said, if you go to the information I shared with you, I believe I shared with you information on Christopher Houser. If I didn't, I'm gonna go back in there and check. I'm gonna give you the post that I've learned, where I actually started learning how to stand in court by Christopher Houser. And actually, he's giving you the information, even if you're not indexed. The stuff that you're going to follow with him, he's going to share a lot of stuff that he did, whether I was indexed or not. That's how I started standing up in court, because the index covers us when this government actually started coming for their product. Are you there? Anyone there? Someone like they froze.
No, we're there.
Alita is froze.
Okay. Yeah. So the key is that the indexing cover us from this system when they start to come and get their product. Then when they start coming and get their people, what we call the people product, that's their product. The people are no different than this item right here, as you know, the birth certificate, social security card. So everyone who isn't indexed, those going to be the ones that will be in trouble at that time. Those are going to be the ones who's going to be needing to be indexed in order to cover them and to be secure from the system. My wife and her daughters, they have had dreams already showing that they were protected. And it's been like people around them, or person that came into the home where they were. The army came in and well, I guess it was the army. They came in and they was asking, well, who are you, this and that? And then they just said that they are a sovereign principle of the Father. They are a child of the Creator, and they've been, I don't know if they said it was indexed or not, but the point is they knew who they were. They knew who they were. When I say that, they knew they were indexed. They know that they are a child of the Creator. They know that they are not a part, or they are not a corporation or a part of this corporation. And the officer or whoever it was knew it too. Left them alone. But the other lady that was beside them, she had to go. Why? Because she was a part of their system. By being a part of the satanic system, you are their property. You are a product of their property.
That's correct.
That reminds me of one of the movies where the man was free and the person with them were not, and he just showed his papers, and then the other one, they was able, because they were still property of the owner, so they could take that person as their slave. But he said, oh no, I got my paperwork, and they had to leave him alone. Razia, did you get your answer for that? And then, okay, good. Lita was here. Okay, it's 20 after. Razia, Sunzi, did you have anything else that you want to share?
No.
Okay. Well,
we didn't get Mi'chael didn't give out the number that we can call.
That's right. I was planning on getting there, but you know how things go. I appreciate that, Sister Star.
Yeah.
If y'all if y'all get time, let me make sure y'all got this other information as well. But if you get time, call this number and it would tell you what's in your trust or what's a part or, out of the 10 to 12 banks, treasury banks, it'll tell you your worth, whether if it's one bank or if it's all of it accumulated. But if you call this number, 312 574 3333. That what it's going to do is call back. It's going to call back your number, and the reason why I call back your number because whoever is connected to that phone number that they're calling, whoever's connected to that, they had to use an ID to get that number. The ID is connected to your birth certificate and social security card. Your birth certificate and social security card is connected to the trust. So what it'll do is read back the funds that's in that trust from who's ever the owner of that phone or that device that you're speaking on.
Wow.
Thank you. I did call it and realized that it was just as you said.
You called it just that quick?
Now that was before when we had the last meeting at Sheila's. You gave it to us, and I called it and shared it. So most of us have about the same amount from what I see. But
about that 3 billion?
Yes.
Yeah, most people that got 3 billion. Some people I heard had 5. I have 7. I heard one person had 8 billion and some odd. But yeah, I mean, it's there. People don't know. People need to know. But like I say, a lot of people just they stuck in this Babylonian. When I say Babylonian way, they're stuck in the time that we've been brought up in, and this is what they know.
Yes.
And by this being all they know, they're not trying to seek any other information to get what they need.
Well, Megan, thank you so much, Mi'chael. I know this is so dear to your heart, and it is your passion and your purpose for life.
And my promise.
And your promise. That's right. Let's say many are called, few are chosen because they don't answer.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't make the promise to do the work. And there's no need for us to set up anything special as far as Elizabeth, because he's already given us where we can go. He does these classes, he teaches, it's part of his whole conversation of life. And so if we go here, there are other people who do classes. I know that there's something going on Sundays, and being sovereign, and how do you go to the hospital? If you have to go to the hospital, what you do when your children are born, you do not let them do certain things that puts them in the system. Like I said, I didn't get a social security number until I was 14 and wanted a job. Had I not wanted a job, they probably never would have known. But now, when the child comes out, they give a number to them, and so we have to be wise, get wisdom around the system that we are caught up in, that matrix. The Matrix was not just a wonderful, beautiful movie. There was messages in that. Wakanda there's messages in that. So we just have to be more aware of the message, but then know that when it comes to having to deal with that, you don't just get the little information and then now I'm free. No, you got to learn a lot. There's a lot of information. And that is why, as Danny was saying, some choose not to take either pill and just think that we think that we're not being affected. But if you either have taken the pill or not taken the pill, and then you have to learn. We already know the Babylonian system. We already know that. We are very good at that. We even with the what do you call it? When you get in trouble and stuff like that, we know what will happen if this happens. We'll go to jail, or IRS is gonna take your house and we know that stuff. Now we get to learn the freedom and how to take our power back. if you choose. That's what it is. So thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah. Just before we go, I actually got this on Facebook and Instagram. And on Instagram, Ellie Love Life, she said that she had a dream where two policy officers stopped her as she was traveling, but was not allowed to talk to her. Nothing happened, and she went her way. So, you know, I've had y'all on Facebook and Instagram as well, just recording while we're doing what we're doing. But that's good, Ellie Love Life, and I'm glad you're here listening as well.
Yes.
And Sheila, Sister Sheila, what's the name of your platform for this?
Grand Rising Elizabeth.
Grand Rising Elizabeth. Do you have any information?
We're on every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 to 10, and you can get the link if you go to ElizabethVisionaryConference.org.
ElizabethVisionaryConference.org.
There you go.
I got you. And also, I just wanted to share, in case anybody would like to get in contact with me, can I get my information out as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. My name is Mi'chael, M-I''Chael. That's where we get Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth. You just got to put apostrophe S on that, Knowledge of Truth, to go into those links and stuff like that on the search engines. But my number is 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. You can call and text me at that number for this information, for the water or anything else. You can email me at lkhyym@gmail. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. Also, if you want to look at any of my information when it comes to the water, teas, because you can see all my store locations, and also you can see some of my content as I'm sharing right now, and a lot of things I've shared as well on TikTok and Instagram at LKHYYM_the juice. That's LKHYYM_THEJUICE. In case you want to go to my website on my waters, that website is lkhyym.com. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else on I have two YouTube pages. One of them is Mi'chael the Juice Harris. And if you click some of my links, that'll take you straight to that page on there that you can subscribe. And you can also go to Juice Pro 33. That's one of my first YouTube pages, the JUICEPRO33, my first YouTube page as well. So you can get both of those YouTube pages with me. And I think that's about it. I can't think of any other social media at the moment. Besides my Facebook is Eric Harris. That's Eric Harris on Facebook. And I have many pages on there, many group pages that I'm doing as well that I link my stuff on too. But don't forget Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth on Facebook event page. And you can put those in the search engines of Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as well as Mi'chael's Knowledge of Truth, and also indexing classes in Detroit, indexing classes in Mississippi, and then indexing classes in Atlanta. And I thank you for having me, Miss Sheila. Anytime you want me to come back, let me know if I can share, because I know there's a lot of stuff I may have missed today because, you know, the way things are going, but I just like to share what I know at the point in time, and then some more stuff may come up that I may be able to share again as well.
Ashe. Well, so Star, you know, to get it out to the world, you see what you got to do.
That's right. That's right.
She's not even on Facebook. Well, you got to break through those things and get it out to the world. I just
make another page. I'm sorry, I apologize. Mm-hmm. What I would say is make another page. If they get you off one, make it. That's what I did. They did that with I had Mi'chael the Juice Harris on one page. I'll put information on. They asked me to put my personal information up. I wouldn't do it. They blocked that page. I just made another one called Eric Harris, and I've been on that one since 2011 or 2014, one or the other. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pot.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Absolutely. And I want to say that Mi'chael does deliver the juices and the water. He has the gallons of the I usually get the alkaline in the gallon, and he's distributing now in the different stores around. So it's made very much available for everybody.
And and just to let you know before we go, since I didn't really get on that, just to say I make about 55 different flavored teas in the alkaline water, and I also enhance the energy by using stones, crystals, or organite energy conductor to help line up the chakra and all around the body. I play soothing music, and I put my passion, my love into it, which enhances the energy in the water and also in the teas.
Okay. Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Give yourself some love.
Sheila. Thank you, Mi'chael.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
And give the world some love because the world needs it. Give it a big hug.
Love you.
Now, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Peace, everybody. I want you to know that I want you to have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday. And if you want to go to go down to the festival in Awa's event, let me know. And
I'll see you soon.
Love you all. Thank you.
I'll probably be over there today. You gonna be over there?
What time you going?
I don't know. I got a couple of orders. Someone asked me, but if I get there, you know they'll give you a call. We'll give you a call.
You know they will. You know they will. All right. Peace out.
Love y'all. Love you all.
Peace and love.
Love.